warship room set.
Go on. You've got it. It has a name. Two words. 2 words.
War.
Double B's.
Bubba.
One, 2 words. Double B's.
Battle Bridge.
Yeah. Captain's Pod, Stardate 219125.4. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise, and thank you for joining us on our continuing voyages through the final frontier. I am your Captain Ian Whittington, and from this point forward, she will service us. It's Ambassador Deneé.
No, I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No. Pick a different one.
Really?
I mean, servicing people sounds like hand jobs, blow jobs, sexual things.
I don't think that's what Locutus of Borg meant.
I
mean, it might
after
be.
After he has it with me, he probably
yeah.
would be like,
okay.
The servicing someone just seems a little sexual to me.
Okay. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and your life, as it has been, is now over. It's Ambassador Deneé.
Yeah, I got married to you, so that's right.
Wow. All right, Ambassador, fuck you. Give us a recap of what happened last week.
Did I hurt your feelings?
Yes, you heard my feelings. You heard my feelings. Feelings are irrelevant.
But do you want me to give you a recap anyway?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
While I regenerate.
Last week we learned that the end of Captain Picard and potentially the show as we know it was hanging in the balance from the writer's room. And they all said, let's just fucking see how this goes. Because I didn't know they were going to have to return to work on Monday.
We've all been there at some point.
Yeah, like you're just like, you know what? I don't need to finish this project. I'll remember it. And then months go by, you come back and you think, what was I doing in this room? What was I doing with this email? What is this spreadsheet?
I'm sure I saved this link for a reason.
But in creative TV land world, that's all you need to know about last week's episode. Maybe we want to know about Captain Picard becoming a Borg. Maybe that's interesting to talk about as well.
Maybe.
But mostly it's just learning that the writing team was like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Fuck season 4 if you get one. I did throw a lot of behind the scenes lore at you, which isn't something we kind of do a lot on Captain's Pod. I often wonder if we should do more of that, like contextual things and what's happening at the time, but that would involve a lot more research. And there are other great podcasts you can go out to for that research. This show is about Deneé.
No, it's not.
This show is about Deneé and her reaction and occasionally me geeking out.
I think it's more like the reaction of somebody who's like the new viewer.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And I think that most people would argue I'm no longer a new viewer.
But you are new to these episodes.
But I'm new to the episodes,
you don't remember
so
them.
I still count. Like when we get through all 7 million episodes, then I guess I'm no longer a new viewer.
That's fair. Oh, if only there were that many. Well, we did leave on a cliffhanger. We have engaged the Borg. Picard is one of them. He is Borg. Riker has given the order to fire. Ambassador, I want one prediction.
Okay.
How do they get out of the super deflected-ish beam now that at this point we know Patrick Stewart isn't leaving the show?
You know, it's not very often that I remember what we talked about in previous episodes, but I will say this again confidently. If we are not saucer separating, what are we doing, Star Trek?
Your one prediction is saucer separation.
Yeah, that's it. That it was discussed by the badass woman before us.
Yes.
Whose name I can't remember her name a week later.
But you know she's a badass.
But I know
Shelby.
her face. I know her hair. I know her attitude, and I know her ideas are bold. And I'm telling you right now, like we need to see this. It's mentioned. Let's do it. We talk about launching the warp core. We need to do it. But this isn't. Maybe it is. Oh, okay. What if they launch the warp core?
Okay, hold on. Anymore?
Okay. I got it. Wesley pulls some sort of crazy sort of tumble forward maneuver, right?
Wesley does on the bridge?
Yeah, because he's like the guy that drives, right?
I'm just going to say yes.
Okay. So you launch the core out at the perfect moment where the ship tumbles forward. The saucer section, like the paddle of a ping pong paddle, hits the warp core, launches it forward into the Borg cube. This is after they figured out how to just focus in on Picard's last remaining human DNA that's still that's still there, that they can get in a beamable, get him back on board moment. And in that split second, he's returned to the ship, and because of how beaming works, they just don't beam on his Borg stuff.
Don't beam the Borg. That would be, if this episode happened in Voyager, 100%. That's the Voyager conclusion to this. Warp core fuckery, science, and then transporter accident. Deliberate transporter accident that removes the Borg. Yeah, amazing.
I imagine in my mind that it's kind of like, you know how Geordie LaForge like dove through the closing door.
Geordie barrel roll.
Yeah, but just replace Geordie with like the forward tumble barrel roll. That's what the Enterprise looks like as it just tumbles over and bonks the warp core.
I would love to. Oh, just like a catapult, or a trebuchet, just like ting.
Yeah, but it has to like build up momentum, and so it kind of like throws itself forward in this barrel roll.
Right.
Ping pongs the warp core. It goes.
Sorry, this is the lower decks conclusion to this episode.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly right. Yes.
If it helped, you could have 100 guesses, and you wouldn't. I don't think you would guess how they actually resolve everything in this episode.
I'm actually a little afraid of being disappointed in this episode because
it's possible,
based on the conversation we had last time about how much they fucked themselves. The undoing of the fuckery may take more of a center stage than it needs. You know what I mean? Like, than it needs to. Like, they might over-explain how they're undoing it rather than just having a good time getting there.
Over-explain. Okay, we'll put a pin in that one. They didn't write a 90-minute episode. They wrote 2 45-minute episodes and smushed them together. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's head over to the holodeck. Let's watch Best of Both Worlds Part 2. We'll see you in 10 Forward for a full Debrief. God help you episode. You better separate the Enterprise.
Please.
The ambassador may not come back.
Turn it into a ping pong paddle. Separate it. Let's go.
Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most important thing first. What would you like from the replicator, Ambassador?
If you say Picard's tears...
I locked in. Picard. One single Picard tear is what I'm getting from the replicator.
That is...
From a pipette.
You can't say that.
I just did. Sue me. Assimilate me. I only wish to raise quality of life.
It's like that tear might be the last of his humanity escaping his body.
It really... Do you know what's wild? He hasn't killed anyone yet. That tear is before Wolf 359. He hasn't murdered anybody yet.
Yeah, he didn't murder anybody.
He absolutely did. He absolutely murdered people.
They murdered. It's different.
He was the tool. Look, if I pick you up and smack somebody with you, you helped to murder them.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either.
I don't think that holds up in court.
No. Ambassador, what would you like?
I would like to drink a timey-wimey potion, go back in time, and make sure you don't drink Picard's tear, because that's really, really twisted and dark.
So what you're saying is that you're going to try and do an end run around me to snap me back and make me think I was a first-year cadet.
So hard.
That's a quote from last week. Give me a synopsis of The Best of Both Worlds, Part 2, Season 4, Episode 1. The one where Picard kills people.
The only thing that matters is that the saucer separation has happened.
Yes.
Can be confirmed.
Confirmed.
And I may have absolutely ruined my computer because I mashed the button so hard taking my notes that going forward, there was a delay every time I typed. No.
You did a happy jumpy dance. And what's great, I kind of wish Aaron had been in the room, because it was the closest me and you got to connecting on ship porn. Because that's how I react whenever a ship does something cool. And you felt that for different reasons, because it was confirming a prediction, but also it's something you really wanted to happen, and it looks fucking cool, and it makes sense, and it should happen more. And you were so happy. And
I was so happy.
It outshone my happy.
This episode, another part of what's important in this recap is that, whoa, the budget has returned and has returned strong. Not only do we get to have all kinds of face, can you get that picture off of the screen? It is awful.
Podcast listeners, the picture I currently have up.
It's just too much.
It's the close-up.
Remove it.
It's the close-up on Picard's face as a single tear falls down his face as he's being assimilated by the Borg. I will change it to this one.
Thank you. Much better. Super appreciate that. What was I saying? Oh, yes, the budget is back. Yeah, because we get to have not only a saucer separation, we get to see all kinds of CGI stuff happening on screen. We get a shuttle. We get stuff happening in the background with the shuttle. We get to see the warship room set.
Go on. You've got it. It has a name. Two words. 2 words.
War.
Double B's.
Bubba.
One, 2 words. Double B's.
Battle Bridge.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go! So that was exciting. And I'm like, not only is Picard back, they're all back. They're all happy to be back. They're all having the time of their fucking lives in this episode. And Data, everybody is on point in this. This might be my most favorite episode of Star Trek that we've watched so far. It was so fun. This was a great episode.
That's amazing.
Although Picard being hurt is really hard for my heart.
I mean, yeah.
But it is just so good.
So what you're saying is that the episode where this single tear happens is your favorite episode of Star Trek so far. That's amazing. Sorry, it's gone now. You can look at the screen again. Mm-hmm. I did not expect that. I love it. That's amazing. I cannot wait to talk about why you love this so much.
I can't wait to watch another episode and forget that I love this one this much and make that one my new episode that's my favorite.
That is absolutely fair. Yeah. That doesn't mean as much as it does to some people, but I value that you're saying it in this moment. That's amazing. That's really, really cool. I really want to quickly hit your predictions from last week, which was A, Shelby dies, B, saucer separation happens.
I was right about Shelby. Whew, she is dead.
You are right about Shelby, but you don't realise it.
When does she die?
She doesn't die in this episode. She dies in Picard. We actually see her again.
No.
We see her again.
Okay, when did we see her?
There's no
Where's
reason
that
you would
picture?
know. So if you type in Picard season 3.
Picard season 3.
Admiral Shelby or
she
Captain Shelby.
Oh, wow.
She is leading the Enterprise F as it on its like retirement flight. And that's her. That's Shelby. That's Shelby in the 2400s.
That's amazing. She looks incredible. Look at her.
I mean, she doesn't look incredible now. She died horribly, but...
Why did she die horribly?
Well, that ship is destroyed by... Shit. I can't remember... Man, I cannot remember what happens, but she definitely dies like that. She dies. And the Enterprise F is destroyed. I think during like the Federation Day, the Frontier Day celebration, that's it.
Oh.
So it gets destroyed horribly.
Let's see. She was interrupted by Jean-Luc Picard in a failed attempt to warn her about an imminent Borg attack. It was too late as a Borg signal simultaneously activated assimilation DNA.
Oh, that's
that the
it.
changelings had input into the Federation's transporters, infecting all younger officers with it. This sounds
And she
familiar.
was shot. Yeah, she was shot by somebody on her crew that had been assimilated by a Borg.
She noticed the younger crew members depart their stations and demanded to know what they were doing. And then she was shot in the chest by 2 assimilated lower-ranked officers before on-screen communication with Enterprise F was lost, though her death was not confirmed.
I mean, fair.
Thank you, Memory Alpha.
Memory Alpha is incredible.
Thank you, Memory Alpha, for that. She lives on, just like I predicted.
But no, Shelby does not die in this episode. Were you were really expecting that to happen? I think that's kind of where I want to dive in, because you resonated so much with Shelby last week. How was her continuation in this episode? Did you get the same happy vibes from her? Did her progression continue to be something you enjoy?
She was entirely forgettable in this episode.
Yep, completely agree. But weird, isn't it?
I mean, it's not whenever you're looking at Borg Picard or Borg Card or Piborg or whatever we want to call him. Pickard.
Card?
Can we call him? No, Pickorg. Pickorg.
Picard? Pickorg?
Porg?
Locord?
The porg is actually something
John
from Star Wars.
Locutus. Let's go.
You just got so excited. You basically threw your arm out.
If I enjoyed a sport, that's how I would react to my team scoring a goal.
Championing for your own silliness.
Yep.
It's not. That's not true. I was being sassy.
Thank you.
She does have a role. No, I was talking about
found Shelby, sorry. Yeah. No, she doesn't.
She's not really forgettable, but she's very muted compared to last week. Last week, the ambition was strong. This is an episode where when you watch the previously on, after all the time has passed between the last season and this season, it's really important. And you're kind of reminded about her bravado. And I don't know, I liked the back and forth between her and Riker. I thought that she was really interesting and confident, and I loved every scene that she was in. Even when Riker was checking in with her when they went to engineering, and she was like, yep, I agree with Geordi. This is what's going on. She's doing her own kind of assessment. So
that's the only scene of substance that she has. Like, she has that where Riker is saying, we don't have to get along, but I need you to keep me on my toes. And she's like, is that what a first officer would do? Like, you had the bit of, that's the most Shelby she is. As soon as she's promoted, guess what she stops doing? Keeping him on his toes. She's barely in on the plan. And she is like, she just, anything about her for me from the finale is kind of gone. I think it's because we know she's not hanging around. Like, I think that was all set up for if she's replacing...
Right. This was the handoff.
Yeah, if this is the handoff where Riker is captain, Shelby is number one, she's getting a lot more. Now that we know she's not hanging around, it's like, you're a bit inconvenient on the bridge. Let's...
Totally makes sense to do that. I don't know that she did have a presence, but you're right. She wasn't sort of in his ear the way that you would assume that she would be. But she did have several really important moments where she was contemplating what to do. But there was a lot of voices in this episode. And this had the crew in it. Sometimes you'll watch an episode and it's missing Beverly or it's missing Troy or there's a character that's not quite shown up. But this one had everybody and you wanted to see everybody and each one kind of has their important moments. So it makes sense that they wouldn't give all of that to Shelby, knowing that she's not going to be sticking around and they need to give the power balance back to the crew. But
and it serves the story. Like that isn't needed for this episode.
Yeah, and she did command the saucer section.
She did.
And that was fun. And you could see that she was having a good time.
Yeah. In the captain's chair.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So I guess it's right. This episode doesn't need that. It's not about her. It's about getting Picard back and it's about the broader threat and how Riker is captain now. But it's just, I love Shelby so much and I love the actor so much. She was great. It feels like she would be an excellent addition to the crew, and it's almost a shame that she doesn't actually just hang around from season 4 onwards.
I need to reiterate, she really is not useless in this episode. I was totally kidding. I loved all the scenes that she was in. I thought she gave it a lot of confidence, but what was missing is what we talked about. It was that sassy Shelby. But as pointed out by Wandering in the chat, he is taking the risks being Riker, and Riker is being bold. So her being bold doesn't really work as much. And I agree with that. I think it would have been way too much because he was being, really risky but confident, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah. We have so much to talk about, though.
So much to talk about.
But goodbye, Shelby. It was nice to have you for a little while.
Yeah, you will be missed, are missed. You could have been so much more. Give her a spin-off, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Star Trek
Young
Rebuilding
Shelby.
the Fleet. Any Shelby, gimme. Okay, let's go right back to the beginning. The most important part of the episode. Riker, what happened to your hair, my dude?
I didn't notice it as much.
I feel like I'm the only one that gives a shit about how different his hair is. Seconds later, it's shorter. It's maybe half an inch shorter.
I mean...
It's so distracting to me.
You were like, look at the hair, look at the hair, look at the hair. And then I was like...
no reactions. I was like, okay, it's just a me thing, fine. Whatever.
It's combed ever so slightly different. I thought they did a really good job with the continuity. I mean, even Shelby's makeup looked really similar because she had sort of an orange tone going on. Hello, 90s. Or, it was Beverly's makeup it's all very distinct, this distinct pattern.
It's very bold.
And Shelby's had a very orange eyeshadow, and they really, I think they did a really good job with it.
No, I think that's fair, and it is daunting to not film them back to back and have them so separately. So I jest, but it's just one of those things that I can't unsee when you are literally picking up the next second after the previously on. So I guess the most important question, genuinely, is how do you feel about the immediate resolution to the cliffhanger?
The thing this episode does really well is it makes you forget how stupid that was. because I forgot how stupid that was until you asked me.
It's really stupid.
But imagine you start off, okay, we got to write the next episode. This is where we left off. And everyone's like, well, it just can't work, right?
It can't work. They've adapted.
And so it's literally just like, okay, moving on.
It is such a damp squib. It is so anticlimactic. And I want to preface this first with, I love this episode. I love this two-parter.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Some people aren't super hot on the Best of Both Worlds Part 2. I love it.
Why?
I think mainly because of this, the anticlimax of it, and putting the Borg to sleep is a bit anticlimactic. I love it. I think all of that works. The only bit that's really hard for me that doesn't work, because obviously it doesn't work, is the deflector beam. Like, the tension of the end of Best of Both Worlds is genuine and it is real, but it's like there is a lack of score. Like, if you watch these smushed together back to back as one complete story, you have that huge crescendo and then silence as the deflector beam just flickers out. You get some beeping on the bridge, and then like, all right, turn it off, Mr. Worf. And then Picard's just like, yeah, it didn't work, did it? Like, it specifically is an anti-climax to where we were left off a couple of seconds ago. So while I really like the rest of the episode, that moment always disappoints me because the build-up to it is so incredible.
I don't know. There's something to be said about a great build-up, and then it just doesn't work. Like, I think in storytelling, we want to see our heroes always succeed, and if they had, that would have been the destruction of a character that they wanted to continue on. So they had to kind of find a way around it. Maybe they could have damaged the ship, but the solution is that the collective knew what Jean-Luc Picard had in his mind, and so they had immediately began to prepare for whatever could come at them, except for a shuttle.
One solitary shuttle.
But I thought that was an interesting thing. There in my head, do you know the American show? I just had The Price is Right.
Yeah, with Drew Carey.
Yeah,
who's Drew Carey? Right? Yeah, Drew Carey.
Yeah, it used to be Bob Barker.
Yeah.
So do you know it well enough that you can hear the fail sound in your head?
No, I've got the Family Feud fail sound in my head. Okay.
Well, I think in post-production you should insert it because this is like the build-up. They're firing on the Borg cube, and my note is like, deflector dish fire. Nothing seems to be happening. And then there's this sort of like pause before anything, and they're all sort of looking around as their ship is basically in critical condition because they've said that if it doesn't work, maybe the ship blows up. I can't remember exactly what was said last time, but it was pretty serious.
The reason they couldn't do it straight away was because it's so powerful it would destroy the Enterprise. So they fixed that problem. That was the problem they were engineering themselves around.
Right. And that way it is a little bit comedic, but man, sometimes things just don't work. And it makes sense that this crazy thing that they were trying to do doesn't end up working, and they are faced with a big problem. But like where this shifts for me is does the Borg cube just sort of like watch this attack fail and it just turns and runs?
Yeah, it decides.
Is that right? Did I looked away for a moment and then I was so confused because why didn't they take the crew? Why didn't they attack the ship?
They assimilate? Because we need an episode is the only answer. But the only logic is that the Enterprise is not worth its immediate resources. So it's going to go to Earth first and assimilate the Enterprise later. But it really, by all accounts, should just assimilate the Enterprise immediately.
There's always going to be things to look over in any episode of TV, in any movie. At the expense of telling a good story, there's just some parts that are not going to make sense. But that was the biggest question I had multiple times is, why didn't the Borg just take the ship?
I guess they don't see it as a threat. Like at this point, the Borg are like very single-minded, and they're not a threat. So we're not even going to bother to spend a second on you because by the time you can get to us, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing's going to change. So I guess that could be their downfall is their complacency. And their lack of imagination.
So
yeah, because like they're so powerful.
Yeah,
they can. One ship isn't going to make a difference.
Yeah.
What I do, and for the record, it is the right choice. It is absolutely what should happen in that moment. It should be an anticlimax. It should not work. They should adapt immediately, but it still feels weird. It's such a juxtaposition to how we ended the last episode.
It is, but it does allow this really beautiful moment where Picard,
I was just about to say it.
Pacutus says, he calls him number one. And they're just shook.
Shattering.
They're really...
It's rough.
It's hard to watch a beloved character turn heel. Like, we're not watching some sort of wrestling show. This is our beloved Picard.
You, Riker, Saturday night. My next thought was, all of the anticlimax, which is fine, is worth it for the Locutus speech to Riker. The knowledge and experience of the human Picard is a part of us now. It has prepared us for all possible courses of action. Your resistance is hopeless. Number one. He's such a dick.
Mocky.
There's no need for that.
They're playing with their food.
There is no need to bring out the pet name, which is what it is. It's not the official title. It's really just something that Pike and Picard do. Not everyone does it. It is so much like Picard's in here and I'm using him in any way that I see fit, including pet names and that lovely trip to Risa that we had. It is so mean and I love it. It's so juicy.
But we find out that the Klingons, so they're in the ready room, or the conference room or whatever, and the Admiral's all like, Klingons are coming, we're trying to get the Romulans
Damn it,
involved.
we've even considered calling the Romulans. I love his grumpy old man demeanor. It's like, damn it, we just got the Romulans off our lawn and now we've got to call them back in.
This is your fight too because they don't care. Yeah, it's like the mutual enemy that can unite all aliens against a common, which you really need to do sometimes in shows like this, where you have all these various quote unquote bad guys, and then you've got this new one that's so different, and that's part of what makes the Borg so interesting. And this episode also digs into even more of their collective nature, which is kind of fun, but they're like kind of just stuck for a while.
Yeah, and it's that briefing scene is really important to me. I always remember that just as being like the first time I could think of a fleet actually being assembled. Like there'd always be like when there's a confrontation on the neutral zone, it's like, okay, we're sending some ships to back you up, but this is the Admiral, like this is the first time we've seen them at war. So he's like, we're getting all of the fleet. We've got 40 ships all convening at the same place. The Klingons are sending ships, and that I really love that line of, heck, we're even thinking about talking to the Romulans. Like, yeah, that tells you so much about what's going on and about how serious it is.
Yeah,
and that's something TNG didn't do. It didn't do the war stuff. It didn't do the like just the really, really dark big battle stuff. I mean, you could argue that it doesn't even in this episode, but we'll get to that very shortly.
The other thing that happens in this conference that I think is really interesting is that the Admiral talks about Jean-Luc back in like the Academy days.
Yes.
And I had to kind of eat my own words because my note was the Admiral's talking about some boring shit. And then I realized it was about Jean-Luc and I was like, oh no, I'm interested.
No. Did you where did you think he was going with that?
I don't know.
That's
it was just like,
so funny.
When I was blah, blah, cadet, I remember watching somebody that was doing something. I'm just like, get to the fucking point. You know? He had
damnedest thing I ever saw.
Part of a sentence, and I was like, boring. And I don't.
That's so amazing. You predict so many things. And that when you're just like snore,
I know.
Shit, he's talking about Picard.
Yeah, I never met anyone with more drive, determination. I was like, oh, he's talking about this.
Fuck.
And Jean-Luc Picard, and there's no way that he would assist the Borg. And then he's like, he's a casualty of war.
Yeah.
And Beverly says, then we've abandoned all hope of recovering him. And I am slightly unnerved at how quickly it seems they can capture their emotions and just move on as one does.
Yeah.
When their most favorite person is essentially being declared dead. We have a Guinan moment coming up, but like essentially this is the moment when the Admiral's like, it's them or us. Like this isn't.
We're going to throw everything at that ship.
A great man has been lost.
Yeah.
Your captain, my friend. And Riker's promoted to captain, and then they're like, congratulations. Like, this is the fucking time for cake and toasting.
Captain Riker Day.
Jeez.
It's really interesting to me how stubborn the Admiral Hansen is about this. It's kind of like Picard died, and was replaced with Locutus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his comfort. That's like, I have to believe that. I cannot believe that through torture or any other means that Picard helped them. It has to be they took his brain out, scanned it, and then put it into a robot.
Essentially,
man.
they did that.
Like, he's dead to me. Like, he is literally dead. That's the only way we can move on. Do not besmirch his good name. This isn't Picard doing this. This is the Borg. I kind of love that angle. I kind of really appreciate that.
I think it begins to do the psychological separation that anyone in the military would have to do in a situation where their person has been captured. But like, we're like, no, you go in and you get them. You go and you rescue if there's any opportunity to do that. And this admiral's like, no, we're beyond that. And then this show says, let's fuck them up.
Let's do it.
Let's
go.
Show the audience what they don't know, which is that Picard is currently being quietly tortured and has a tear come out of his eye to prove that he's still in there somewhere.
It's beautiful.
It is so heartbreaking. And yes, there is a part of me that's just like, it's probably just some sort of like lacrimal reaction, right? Like, it's just the tear duct is a little overwhelmed. It's dusty. You know,
they're draining
and that's
him.
it.
They're actually just draining the tear mucus out of his face.
But it's not. It's not meant to be that, and we know that. And then to make it even worse, they turn him totally white. They just remove any of his color.
Just uniform.
And then just shunk.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Completely uniform.
And he's upgraded with a robot arm. I mean, he's tortured with a robot arm.
It's incredible. I love it. It's some of the best face acting that I've ever seen. Like, in that moment on the bed, I see Patrick Stewart.
Oh my God.
Captain Picard.
Sir
Patrick Stewart. I see a human being crying, and Jesus, Picard doesn't cry. Like, there are occasions where he cries. Picard does not cry. What he has to have gone through for that tear to come, how defeated, and like, in Best of Both Worlds, he's like, I will fight you. That's why that line where it says, I will fight you with every last ounce of strength that I have, that hits you so much harder when you know that single tear is coming, when he's on the other side of that and all of his strength is gone. There is nothing in him now.
It's almost like he wouldn't even give them a scream. He wouldn't give them a howl. It was almost like it was forced out of him, and it's just the smallest, tiniest bit of moisture that contains whatever
everything. It is the best single tear in all of media ever. And the single tear thing, we sing it for our jobs. We mention it all the time because it's so cliche. Used so much. But that single tear really legit. Means something.
It was really heartbreaking. You talk about him not crying anymore. We can't say that. There was the Picard before, and that is gone now. And then there is the Picard after, because at the end of this episode, Sir Patrick Stewart, who apparently wasn't a sir yet, thank you, Chad.
He was not, no.
Is in emotional agony at the end of this episode. And I was removed of my body watching him try to like encapsulate what it would be like to return to this character forever changed. And I'm always amazed at how much a face can emote with such like simpleness, but I could almost like see this hollowing and then this like shuddering return to reality and this loss. And it's like looking at his face just at a glance, you can see that there's a very centered and controlled man, but if you compare it to the Picard before, it's so different.
It's so different.
And it's only someone who watches this show all the time would be able to sort of go the before, the after. It's like the portraits of U.S. presidents after they've run their 4 terms, and you see the difference. You know,
one of Obama, that one really hit me. I was like, oh shit, that was a rough 8 years, wasn't it?
And you can. It's not just the prosthetics, on his face.
No.
It's the hollowed cheeks and the horror in the eyes.
The picture that I have on screen right now, you can't even see the bandages that are on his face. Like, you don't even need that to see what's going on in his mind.
I don't think that anyone who's a Star Trek fan would argue about how Patrick Stewart has taken this character into like a very beautiful space for us. and as a fan and as someone who genuinely appreciates the time that these actors put into this craft for a quote unquote like silly star show.
Right.
And then there's days when they're going to dress up like salamanders, and there's days like this. And it just, I don't know, it's just such a gift. And even though it's heartbreaking and horrible, that last scene with Picard, like we just can't say anymore that he doesn't cry. Like he is someone who might not shed a tear, but he's a broken man. And that was really hard.
It's probably my favorite scene of the entire episode. He has to wait until Riker is gone. It's very like back to business. And there's even like when he comes, when he first breaks through and he's like, I remember everything, including some very unorthodox maneuvers from a former first officer of mine. Like there's a little joke to there. There you are, Picard. But Riker leaves the ready room. He can't, it's what I love in that moment, he can't even drink Earl Grey tea. He can't, the something that brings him comfort, a consistent thing that he always reaches for. He can't drink his tea. And I like to think that like, I don't want to feel good right now. I don't want to feel the warmth of this tea. I can't interact with anything human right now. And what can I do? Just stare into the void of space. And he doesn't cry. He doesn't scream. He doesn't collapse. He's just very stoic. But you're right. You see everything in his face. Shifts. And that is all Patrick Stewart. And
it's incredible.
There really is this shift. And we can superimpose it maybe subconsciously, but I really do feel there is Patrick Stewart acting as Picard season 4 onwards, where I think even if the writers aren't thinking about it, I like to think Patrick Stewart is thinking about that in his character. I think he is.
I mean, I feel like that's true. And that's something that I, get to look for as a fan and maybe overthink, like you said. Maybe we get to superimpose our own reality. For this episode, though, the haunting end of him returning to the ship and returning somewhat to his humanity, but forever changed, and how that was put out. I wonder what it was like on set that day. I wonder if that's a one-take situation. I wonder if the director cleared the room. I wonder if there's stories that will come up when movies are made about moments that really changed a movie forever, things like that. I don't know. There's just a real reverence. When you watch somebody hurt, whether it's a fictitious character or not, and you're watching them hurt and you can't do anything about it, it lingers when you care. And I think as a fan of this content, we care. We care about what we're looking at. We care for our entertainment. We care for the storylines. We care for the outcome of the show. We care because this is our escape. And to end on a great note of Picard is back, but not just shut it out and pretend like next week is going to be the same, is giving a depth to this world that results in us continuing to see the content that we get to see, because there's people that decide to take it seriously. Like Patrick Stewart could have said, no, I'm done. I don't want to come back to this. But you can see not only did he come back, he's really giving it the depth and breadth that it needs to have. At
this point, I think he's like, I'm in. Yeah. I'm all in. Like, this is me. If I do this for the next 10 years, 20 years, this is my legacy. Let's go. And that was something that, especially in the 90s, people were really fighting against, standing to the noughts as well as I don't want to be typecast. It is an incredible performance. And what you said really, really hit me with it being a silly spaceship show. And like, we come to work, we dress in brightly colored pajamas. We're talking about reversing neutron flows, and we're talking to aliens with prosthetics and whatnot. You can choose to see it that silly, or you can choose to live in the world. And this is like the first time, not the first time, but I really see Picard and the entire crew living in the world. And it's just an episode that bucked trends. Like, it doesn't have a stereotypical happy ending. It doesn't have a very common through line at all. Like, this is so strange to have the main character be the one doing all of the damage and then bring them back. There isn't a time reset. There isn't a go back in time and fix it. It's not salvage him from a computer program, clone him, whatever. It is, this is the same person. And we're jumping around a bit. I don't care. When they ask him, how much do you remember? And he just says, everything. And that's a bold choice, because you could say, it's a bit foggy, I'm not too sure. And you can separate Locutus and Picard. But he's there the entire time. He witnesses everything that happened. The thousands of people that Locutus killed using his body. Like, oof. Those choices are what set this apart.
He remembers the torture.
He's awake for all of the implants and stuff. Ugh.
Yeah, you're right. They do a brave thing, and they decide that going forward, this show has a different depth. It has a different library of information at its fingertips, because now through this character Picard, we have insight into a brand new enemy that, sure, this Borg cube may not exist anymore, but the collective is still out there. So they remove that immediate threat of, oh, we've just unleashed a far too powerful villain that can kill everything and it's above Earth.
Yeah.
They fix that problem, but there's still that looming presence that will haunt Picard himself forever. But it also gives our characters insight in a one-up, because they've done something that maybe they can't do anymore because the Borg adapt and learn, and we kind of know that. But it's really a fun. It is fun. It is fun because you want to see writers do something brave with what you love.
We want to watch our characters get fucked up. We do. We want to feel things with them. It's just morbid.
From that, and it's an example of when something horrible happens, how do you adapt and grow from that? And you get to watch these things play out in some of our favorite content. And so good on you for changing the landscape from the normal bad guy comes in, we go ahead, blow up ship, goodbye kind of model to this very complex nature, this very complex thing that's now happened. This enemy has forever marred, has scarred. And it's kind of like a scar that their dermal whatevers can't regenerate. You know, they can't go to the doctor and regrow an arm and stick it back on and remove the scars. This is something that's much, much deeper. And there's this vibe of, okay, great. Yep, I can take those implants out. No worries. But how do you repair the internal struggle? And
memory
this is
wipe.
Where
wipe his memories.
And they
that's
don't
it.
do that.
No,
they
don't.
decide to carry forward with the dark kind of captain.
Yeah.
Which might be a way to really entice and bring in a brand new audience for a new season. So
yeah.
I kind of don't like them playing with my favorite characters in some ways, and in other ways, I think it's a brave and interesting thing to do.
There are, and you've said that quite a few times, where like, don't fuck with my people, don't fuck with Data, don't fuck with somebody. But I can tell a fantastic episode when you're like, okay, you fucked with them, but I get it. I get it. It's exquisite. It is so well plotted and
it's
executed.
It's because it's so well acted. I
absolutely.
Trust that in the hands of this beautiful crew. And I don't know, having kind of looked into the future and seen Picard and things like that, I know that there's the haunting nature, but Picard is just that example of a character that keeps going and keeps striving for what is good and what matters. And even when is marred, even when is abused, even when is violated, continues to reach inside for something, really meaningful. And I love that. So like, good job trying to take him down, but fuck you, Borg. That kind of a vibe.
I'm coming back stronger, and you're going to regret that I was part of the collective.
Can we shift into something interesting this episode does?
Let's go.
So this episode does something interesting that I do love, and that's when we don't know the full plan, but we know that they're starting to plot it out, right?
Yeah.
And so just after we see our beloved captain tortured, we see Worf and Riker in the lift, and they're kind of like talking back and forth, and this is when Worf says that they have no honor and no courage.
Yeah, they're kind of at a loss. Like, what have we got to work with?
But it's the seed of Riker going, we're no longer fighting Borg, we're fighting the life experience that's been stolen from Picard. And so that's kind of the kicking point for him to begin to come up with this plan that we don't entirely know. We see bits and pieces of it, of this sort of, okay, Picard thinks we're going to do this, so how do we do the opposite and still kind of see it all work out? And
how can we use that to our advantage?
To kind of skip through all of those pieces, like, does that work for you? Did you enjoy watching how it all kind of comes together? Because you said there was no way I would ever have imagined how it was going to come together. Part of it I did imagine.
You did.
But how does that work for you as a Star Trek fan? Was it?
I get chills. I love this episode so much. I really, really love when a story isn't afraid to have the good guys be confident and to outsmart the bad guys. Like, there is a tendency now to, like, twist. Oh, they anticipated that.
Yeah, like overcomplicate it.
Flashback. Did you anticipate this? Oh, I knew you were going to do that.
Yes.
But
you mean like an Ocean's 11 style?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It was like Danny Ocean's been outwitted, but it turns out 17 years ago, Danny Ocean sent a postcard to somebody and then knew that this one time it was going to come in handy. This is really, really it really strips it back. Once Riker has had his pep talk from Guinan, which we will get to, and he has these bits of information from Worf and about rewriting the book of the Enterprise, he's accumulated it in his head. And now it's execute the plan. He's clearly told Shelby about it, sends her away to start doing her prepping. He then goes to Riker and Data and says, I've got a mission for you two. I love that so much. He's setting the different things into motion. And he has a confident plan and he executes it. You could argue that from like a writing standpoint, it's too simple, but I love it. It's just really exciting. Him in the chair. Shit-eating grin. Come now, Locutus. You should trust me. And it works. He does get trusted, and it backfires. The espionage, sneaking the shuttle through the antimatter explosions, kidnapping Picard, get back onto the shuttle, beam us out of there. I love it. It ticks all of my sci-fi adventure boxes. Smart people doing smart stuff. Did it work for you, Ambassador? Because it's rapid. It's rapid. It's not fully communicated to us. They don't apologize by not saying, this is the plan, let's execute it. We're discovering the plan as it happens.
Yeah, it definitely works for me because we get to see these little seeds, like you said, of him learning information, Riker learning information and piecing it together. And it really ramps up when they find out that Wolf 359...
Yeah, there you go.
That was in the chat earlier, so it's fresh
also in the episode.
Oh, and it's also in my notes. Look at that.
As it should be.
Yes. That has been absolutely destroyed by the Borg ship.
Yes.
Just so, like, we see the measure of destruction. We see what has been unleashed. I wrote down the names of the ships that went down, and I know I got them wrong. Because when they're said, it made no sense. It was the Tolstoy, the Cute Shoe, and the Melbourne. And I don't know what the middle one was, but I wrote down Cute Shoe. But we get to see that they're like...
The Q Shoe.
Yeah.
The Q Shoe.
That was actually another battle. The 359 was different, wasn't it?
No. That was they arrive at the Battle of Wolf 359 because originally the Admiral Hansen says we've engaged the Borg at Wolf 359. Right. The battle doesn't go well. Right. The Enterprise gets there a couple of hours later and all 40 ships have been destroyed.
So at that, as we're watching this plan evolve before our eyes, I didn't think it was too fast. And I also wasn't really annoyed by it being quote unquote simple. I think there is a nerddom fandom part of me that exists that I would like some sort of take on what those conversations were like for the execution of the plan, a sort of lower decks approach where they could show us more about how that comes together, what those conversations are like. But the mystery of it was really, really fun. Like, for example, whenever he tells Worf he's got a mission for him, it wasn't like he's like, I've got a mission for you.
That's how I take it every time.
Do me. It was, I may never see you again.
Oh, no. I've always heard that delivery as, you're going to love this. I got a mission for you two.
I think he does have a bit of that, but there's also that I'm sending Worf.
Yeah, and Data.
To potentially never see them again. And I don't know. I that hit me in a couple of, I don't know, of my feels. I was like, wait, what are you going to do with Worf?
Hands off, you bastard. Don't fuck with my characters.
But it was so fun. The simplicity of what we saw, it had to be super complex on the back end. And I kind of like, the nerdy part of me wants to see that sometimes.
No,
but it would have been so boring.
It would have been so boring. And we've done it in every other episode.
We've done it in every episode.
We have the plan. We have the formula. This needed to be different.
Just want the action.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, being on the little shuttle with the side view where we're looking out the windows,
you see the drive section? I was
so happy.
Just tell me about it because
it's so
I love this
fun,
stuff. Isn't it? And Oh man, it's so good. They have their little like transporter armbands on their thing, and I'm like,
their little.
what's happening with those?
Yeah,
Clearly, there's
those
something going on.
The little panel on the top of the shuttle where they
pressing the emergency transporter pedal, beep boop boop. You don't see that much, but
don't see that.
It's so nerdy. It's like
hello budget.
Leaving the shuttle bay in exactly 3 seconds. Guess what? You do a countdown. It is exactly 3 seconds, and for some reason that's important to me. But it's all of that is a beautifully well choreographed battle. Actually using the fucking saucer separation for once. You know, they made such a big deal about it in episode 1. Guess how many times it's used, Deneé? I'm going to tell you 3 times. Once in episode 1, again in episode 2, and not episode 2, in a different episode in season 1 where Geordie does it and gets told off. And then it happens in this episode. That's it. They forget the thing fucking exists. There are so many times it could have been useful.
They don't forget. It's expensive. I bet it is so expensive.
You should have thought about that before you invented the fucking thing then.
Knowing what I know now about how expensive every phaser fire is, I was like, woo, we're pulling out all the stuff.
Yeah, but
they're reusing some footage.
Yeah, there you go.
And I know that they are.
That's
but it also
clear.
felt very new in a way. And I loved it. But seeing the shuttle where they're going out in a battle as well. It wasn't just a wave to the nacelle as it passes you by vibe. It was a pew, and like it's lighting up and you're seeing some stuff going on. It was really fun.
You could easily have the shuttle leave, and guess what? Not have the drive section be in the window. It could be anywhere else in the battle. It could be behind the Borg ship. But it is stunning to see it leave the saucer section because it's so weird.
It puts you in the world.
Usually, you don't see that bit of the ship when you're in a shuttle leaving the ship because you're leaving the ship and the ship is usually connected.
Yeah.
But it looks beautiful. And then going through the antimatter charges as well, which is such a smart idea. Flood the place with antimatter charges. That's going to distract and confuse the shuttle. And it gets the shuttle close enough, just this ding, 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 just close enough to the Borg ship to do what it needs to do.
It was a lot of fun.
It's such a bold plan. I love it.
It's so bold and it works and it's fun to watch it work and it's exciting. We've already established that the Borg are really not interested in the Enterprise because they see them as little ants and they don't care. So everything in my brain was like, yep, this is working for me. And they even go in and out of their shield, the Borg shield. You can see them field. Kind of leave that field and get out of the shuttle before it blows. Bye-bye shuttle. We saw a shuttle die today.
So I love how quickly it gets destroyed, and it should be that quick.
Yeah, it was really fast.
It should be that convincing.
Also, the Borg destroyed the Mars defense that fast too. It was brutal.
What is going on, Sol System? What is going? What?
Not
Why
even
are
like
the Romulans winning everything right now?
Everything, yeah. Well, I think it's because the Borg have adapted all the technologies, and they've got like the super fires and the super protectors.
Are we saying there's only 40 ships in all of Starfleet? There are 40 ships. Like how? I guess they're all spread out everywhere. But
yeah, they were.
It's confusing to me. If it only takes a year to rebuild your entire fleet, your fleet isn't big enough.
Yeah. It was definitely like one of those things where I want to see every ship against the Borg, but y'all, it was expensive in the 90s, and we do get to see some cool shit in Picard. I mean,
yeah, we do. The
modern day Star Trek that we get to watch in Strange New Worlds, we are spoiled, and I
would say we are too spoiled because we don't appreciate it as much. I think we appreciate this stuff when it happens in TNG because it's so sparse and few and far between. It's almost like we can't have an episode if we don't have something like that happening in space and pew-pews and whatnot. And I don't know.
It's fun. It's rare. Most of the episodes are contained on the ship itself and they're walking around and it's like a little Star Trek. It's like a star drama. It's
Star drama. Like, that's what they should call it.
It's like watching ER, but instead of it being inside of an emergency room or whatever, it's, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're here for that fun, nerdy Star talk. But when we're going outside of the ship and we're seeing battles, this was such a unique kind of moment. So to get back to it, it worked for me. Getting on, grabbing Picard, getting him home, that worked for me. Then even like what we do to get Picard back, which we'll get to, worked for me. All of that was really, really fun.
I do love Riker's little smiley smirk at the end when Worf's like, we have Captain Picard. And it's just like, my plan worked. Like this wasn't about destroying the Borg. This wasn't about attacking them. Yeah. This was about getting Picard back. And not just for selfish reasons. It's because maybe we can now access the data from the Borg, which is so great.
It's a tactical thing because I think Riker knows there's a chance there is no Picard inside there.
Yeah.
He's not going to go see his buddy and say, "Hey, welcome back, stranger."
He needs Locutus.
He's going back to go, what can we learn from this individual? And I'm really excited to talk about that. But first, let's go back to where we kind of are because we started skipping around, but we find out that Riker he assigns his first officer, Shelby, that he was strongly considered Data. That would have been really fun, by the way.
I'd been incredible. I want to see Data in a red uniform. I want to see that so bad. He reluctantly was forced to conclude. Which is probably not what you should say to build confidence in your first officer. Reluctantly, I promote you.
Reluctantly forced to conclude.
Jesus Christ, Riker.
They shake hands.
Damning with faint praise.
And then there's a Borg, attack going on. And so, but Beverly and Data are like, hey, we've got this idea for this nanotech technology. I love that.
Wait. Don't forget the heavy graviton beam.
There was a heavy graviton beam. But the heavy graviton beam.
What's wrong with it, Deneé?
It's not strong enough. It's a geogrid thing.
Yeah.
Something. And that's when we learn that there's other tech that's going to take a few weeks to kind of like figure out. But I love the introduction of the nanotech talk because this becomes kind of like, this is a very normal sci-fi thing now. Now nanotech is something that can pop up in all kinds of chats.
It's wild.
It seems really fun. Like, ooh, you're getting ahead of it.
Iron Man's suit, nanotechnology, like everything in the MCU is nano something, nano this. Like, it really I'm sure somebody's gonna come say, actually, Ian, in 1979, this episode of Blake 7 talked about nanites. But for me, popularizing it was Star Trek. Even the Borg themselves, nanoprobes, they're not said in this episode, but Voyager discovers that, I think it's in Voyager, they elaborate how it's nanoprobes that do the assimilating in the bloodstream and all of that. So, and the nanites... And
they introduced that here.
They introduced that here, but the nanites were actually introduced in season 3 with a different episode where Wesley actually invents some nanites. So nanites are actually invented by Wesley.
Thanks, Wesley.
He accidentally unleashes them and they fuck with the ship. And there we go. Like, it happens. Wesley is the one to thank for nanites.
Wesley.
Thanks, Wesley. But I'm getting so excited. This little conference speaks to one of the things that I think you love about this episode, which is everybody having a part to play.
Yeah,
Geordi,
it does.
Beverly are doing their plans, and this biological technological merger makes sense to have Beverly and Geordi
and
doing
Data.
the math together and Data working together.
It does.
Because they got to come at this from 2 angles.
It's so wise to introduce them having an idea in this moment and then to have their big moment later with, in the Data lab, which is a kind of another new set for us to enjoy, by the way, with those things in the background. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. So after this moment, Riker decides to give a speech. It's not a great speech. It's
deliberately so, I think.
It's not him fumbling, but it's his attempt at going, Picard would say something meaningful right now, and I wish he was here to give it, but this is a difficult transition, but I can never replace him. I'm just taking over. So whatever outcome is the outcome of this effort, have faith in all of us. It was just sort of
have as much faith in us as Picard would. You're dismissed. Get out of here.
You're dismissed.
However, Deneé, I like it because it's Riker's style. Like, he uses humor. He's like, actually, I wish he was here now because I'd love to hear it. Like, he diffuses it with humor and gets a wry smile from Beverly, not much from Deanna because she knows what Riker is doing. I hope this is deliberate. Deanna knows that Riker is going to struggle to deliver this speech and is using humor and can't even laugh at it because she knows this is what he's going to do. And
that's how I do it. That's why I do the show.
This is
all just a deflection of my deep emotions.
Deflect it all. And I don't know, it makes me think of the very first Titan book. I'm just going to get super nerdy here for a minute.
That's why we're here.
There is a series of books about Captain Riker and his wife Deanna on the USS Titan, and this is his missions, and the books follow him as a captain. And in the very first book, he starts distancing himself from the crew, and he doesn't hang out in 10 forward. He's very distant, and Deanna's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, this isn't you." And it's like, "Well, this is how Picard leads." And he's like, "Yeah, you're not Picard. Lead like you. Go play some jazz." And he takes his trombone to 10 forward and is just. him. He's a more relaxed, pally, charismatic leader. And I just love that this character work happens here. It's not an immediate, you're going to now suddenly be the speech giver captain. No, you're going to be Captain Riker. You're going to be your kind of captain.
And this is even before, it's such an interesting choice too, because we don't have a Guinan conversation and then he gives a speech. He gives a speech and then he gets a Guinan conversation.
Oh, let's do it.
The way that the writers are almost forcibly making us uncomfortable in the transition and then giving us some confidence with the Guinan chat. It's just really well written. I'm really, like I said, I'm really enjoying this episode because it all feels very intentional. It's a nice storytelling. When you have an ability to create an episode and do whatever you want, it must be daunting, but they made some very deliberate choices on how to kind of place these scenes. And when Riker walks into the room and sees the empty chair, it is very unnerving.
Oh, it's great. What would you do?
Well, first of all, I have to say that on Picard's table are like these data chip looking things.
Mm-hmm. That Isolania data rods, I think.
Upon first glance, I thought was a very futuristic ant world. And so I was very distracted.
Just in his free time, he's been looking after space ants.
Yeah.
That's a pretty Picard thing to do.
And I was like, this is really interesting because, you've got sort of the ants doing what the colony does. It's very colony-esque. And I thought it was sort of like a little wink. And it's not. It's just really cool, like neon plastic chips.
The thumb drives.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, it's him walking in to his captain's ready room, his chair that has his 3 years of butt creases in it. He's worn that chair in. Livingston the fish in the corner. And just looks at the chair. What would you do? And there's like a venom to it. Like, come on, you're so smart. What would you do in this situation? Because I am struggle bussing right now. And it is the perfect scene. You mentioned about like how fun it is to watch this episode. It's so comforting to watch this episode because it's so well written. I don't take the same amount of notes as you do, but I just caught myself writing down every line of dialogue because every line feels important. And that's what it should do. You have a set amount of words to say in your 45 minutes of episode. Every word should feel important. And Guinan's pep talk to Riker, it is so functional. It's so important. And it comes from the perfect person as well. I think she gets much more to do in this episode. She may actually be in this episode less, but she has probably the most important job in this episode.
Oh, yeah, she does. She's the comfort to the audience. She's the hope. She's the guiding voice. In every transfer of power, in every story, when the hero is having that crisis moment, when they have to find a way to draw upon their own power to propel them forward. Mm-hmm. This is that moment. And when he walks in and he asks the empty air, what would you do? It's like if in the world of Star Wars, asking your Force teacher, God, I hate that I don't know what it is.
Force Ghost?
No, like they're your master. Your master.
Yeah, the Jedi Master.
It's like reaching into the ether to sort of try to remember what you're teaching would lead your brain to do, you know? And so like reaching into that void, we're also, that's what the captain, every time we're in this room, Picard is in that chair and it's really uncomfortable to walk in there and not see it. So to break that tension by not only bringing Guinan in, but she sits in it is so brilliant. Because
it's beautiful. First thing she does.
You're right. Only so many words, but when a show is operating on all cylinders, it's also what the actions are doing that gives you
chills.
Something else. There's this something else. There's the way that they're acting. There's where they're sitting. It's all of those things operating together that are meant to evoke something within you. And when she does that, I had many emotions. One of them was, get the fuck out of Picard's chair.
You kind of think that, don't you? You almost want her to have a bit more tact.
Mm-hmm, yeah. One of them is like, that's also not Riker's chair. And then one of them is like, oh, but I think the point is you're just having to start from somewhere and not worry about rank and order and this and that and who is going to do what. You need to throw all that out the window and get into the real moment of the real people on this ship that are really looking to you. It ground into the rock that you're floating on. And I do this sometimes when I get overwhelmed. I always think this. I have 2 hands. And if I can only hold on to 2 things, and that's it. What are the 2 most important things that I can hold on to? And one of them is my child, obviously. And then the other becomes like the next thing. And it's like that clears the air. It kind of helps you to remember that you're a human, you're only one person and you can only do so much. But when you're the captain of a ship, if one of those things isn't the protection of your own people, you're in the wrong fucking place. And Guinan like just sets you back into that reality of everything she says. I'm just rapidly, writing down.
Yeah.
But it's the resetting of his purpose as this leader and saying goodbye to the baggage and the what ifs and the how would and reconnecting to none of that matters now. You got to like be alive in this moment and to act that out and to ask that of those 2 characters in that moment. I'm in. I'm like, yep, Riker's our man now. You know what I mean? Like the transfer of power has been complete. I am ready to go.
It is the greatest pep talk of all time. I will pit it against anything in terms of genuinely succeeding, and I see it as succeeding in the real world. And that is like all of the groundwork, knowing that Guinan and Picard are close. The words that she says, it's not just 2 characters talking and, oh, pick yourself up. You're the man for the job. I know you can do it. It's so functional. It's because she draws from real things. So like she comes and sits in the chair. Like, doesn't matter if it's Picard's chair. Fuck it. Like, I'm going to sit here. I was like, you can wipe it off as Guinan just being a bit cocky and a bit cheeky because she is a bit cheeky, but it's so deliberate. It's like, stop staring at the fucking chair and sit in it because it's a chair. It's not Picard. It doesn't matter. And the fact that it's Guinan and when she's like, did he ever tell you why we're so close? And Riker's little, am I going to get the tea? Are you going to tell me how you and Picard met? And she does like the little,
she goes
blushing head bow.
She says, he says no. And she goes, oh, and that's it.
That's it. And but it goes beyond friendship. It goes beyond family. And guess what? If I can let him go, anybody can let him go. And she has to go in there with such confidence. And Whoopi Goldberg what she has to get into is, I love this man. I know this man. Go through that journey. Let him go. And then she's got to walk into that room having done that journey. And even if she's not ready to let him go, she's got to convince Riker that she has and that he has to do the same. Because there isn't time to grieve. There isn't time to mourn. You've got to let him go. You've got to rewrite the book because that's going to be your undoing. If you try and be Picard and you try to do anything like him in this situation more than any other, that's going to be your undoing. It's such a good scene.
She also, it's true to form for it's a true to form for anything. Like, if you're trying to be somebody else's version of what you think you should be, you're not necessarily being the you that you are.
Yes.
That's kind of true. But it's also literal because the Borg know what he knows. And so it's vital that they throw it away for their safety. And that's true. So it's a tactical thing. It's a heart and soul thing. But then she also, so brilliantly, she's able to give us hope because she says it's also the only way to save him. And that's the first time that since the Admiral said Picard is dead, we got to move on, that maybe we think that this is going to go a different way. Now, obviously, we're watching this for the first time on TV. It's a new season. We probably think, they're not going to like throw Sir Patrick Stewart out, he's in. This is just us getting to that point. But you're still, if you give into it and you think that there's still a chance that he might never come back.
When it's written this well.
That's the first glimmer of hope. Also, how she is talking is hopeful. She doesn't look sad. She looks like she's joyfully remembering her beloved Picard, and she's imparting something to Riker that is the joy of living from a race that has been annihilated. She's still alive. For the timeless being that she is, there's an element of outside of time and reality that she has that just lets you kind of get back to what's important. Like I said, the 2-hand thing, holding on to it. And so she's like, that is your chair. And he goes and he sits in it.
I love it. It's the only way to beat him, the only way to save him.
But he does not do the Riker move, so I was a little frustrated.
No, he does the Picard move, which is to
pull down
his tunic. Yeah, that's the Picard move. So he does something. It's a masterfully written, masterfully acted scene. Riker goes from kind of like downbeat and sarcastic almost when Guinan's like, you're the only man who can do it. And he's like, I'll try my best. Kind of like, yeah, even if I try my best, what good is that going to do? In a couple of minutes, he goes from that to man with a plan, confident, and I buy it. Like, that's a hard trick to pull off in one scene. So yeah, it's absolutely top notch.
It's in that next scene that they see the destructed ships. I think that's when things get real for Riker on a new level.
Yes.
Is the time. Yeah, this is the time for me to do much more. And it's also kind of funny because there's so many scenes where I'm like, oh, we're get to hang out in Picard's office.
Nope.
And have a conversation, sort of see what's going on in the room. And then he's immediately called back to the bridge, and that happens here too. So
it happens so quick.
So
this is a great transition. One of the biggest questions I wanted to ask you about this episode is, how do you feel about not seeing really a single second of the Battle of Wolf 359, the most famous battle in all of Star Trek? Maybe not for you, but for fans, it's infamous, it's famous.
Oh, why?
It's everything after Wolf 359, because it's the first war that we've been a part of during the TV show. So it's the first time we've seen this many ships destroyed. It's the first time we've ever seen this many ships on screen. Like, it's a huge big deal, and it's referenced so many times. It's like the one event that's referenced more than any other in a show that does episode of the week. They will continue to talk about Wolf 359 up until 2025. We're still, I mean, in Picard season 3, a couple years ago, whatever, they're still talking about it. So it's just this it's not endearing, this enduring pillar of Star Trek history. So I guess it doesn't, if you don't kind of interact with it on that level, it doesn't matter too much. But I wondered how you'd feel about not even seeing it, this huge battle where the Borg ship wipes out an entire fleet. We don't see any of it other than Admiral Hansen having a rough afternoon in his chair.
Okay, well, I have to say, how earlier I thought it'd be interesting to hear how Riker actually developed the plan. I now realize that even more important could be watching this battle.
Yes.
So
you would think.
So maybe
not a second of it on screen.
If we're gonna have to put a request in for that backstory, all of the people who want to see the Wolf 359 are like, I don't care about what Riker did. I want to know about this battle. So if I'm understanding correctly, from the moment that the Admiral said we're going to be in this battle, from then until they arrive, they've been in battle the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
Okay, so the idea is that the Borg ship had some pretty strong defense from multiple, at least 3, the Tolstoy, the Cute Shoe, and the Melbourne.
Plus 37 others, plus some Klingons.
Oh, yeah, and Klingons, which we didn't see those broken up ships, though, did we?
No, we didn't see any Klingon ships. That would have blown the budget, but we did see some ships. But yeah, they slowed them down. The idea was to slow down the Borg. Maybe they get lucky, rotate some frequencies and do some damage. They didn't obviously expect to get wiped out.
So it had been happening for long, hours and hours and hours.
I don't know if it's hours, because I think the Enterprise, I think Riker said that they're 2 hours away, I think, and the Borg had already gone. So I think the battle was over in about 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, we saw what they did to the Mars people.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
After they adapted to the whatever defenses were there, the Borg just immediately bugs on a windshield at those guys from Mars.
Why even send them? Just let them say their prayers, literally. Make peace with your deity of choice or nothing. You saw die.
Riker, he was willing to ram the ship. It's do whatever you got to, even unto death, so.
I mean, that's one of those 40 ships should have done that. Should have warped into the Borg, the Borg queue.
Maybe they didn't have the time. Maybe they didn't have the time.
But yeah, we don't see any of that battle.
I honestly didn't think about it until right now. The answer is, of course, I want to see a battle. Who wouldn't want to do that? But I think I would have wanted to see 2025, 2026's production of that battle and not 1990 whatever's version of that battle, because
that's fair.
I
disagree.
Some things are maybe left to the imagination.
I love Star Trek battles in the 90s. I don't despise them, but I'm thoroughly disappointed by a lot of modern space battles. We do, spoiler, we do actually get to see the 90s version of this battle because the very first episode of Deep Space Nine takes place during the Battle of Wolf 359.
Oh, that's interesting.
They kick it off. So that is the only, as far as I'm aware, on-screen footage of the battle taking place. And it's an incredible opener. It's so good.
We move through the debris, and it is very emotional and extremely sad, and there's like the gravity to it. Like we've been upset. We were upset a few episodes ago about 19 people dying on.
Yeah, this
I think
is
it was
bit
19.
Different. But and so this is the core of where Picard's trauma comes from. Like he watched the Battle of Wolf 359 from the best seat in the house. He watched Locutus destroy every ship, the entire fleet.
Now that I'm part of the team of people who have watched this from more of a critical standpoint, sure, I want to see the battle, but I understand why they didn't do it. This would need to be a much longer episode if it was going to spend. I'm glad that they spent the time doing what they did, because we're about to get to like
I wouldn't trade anything for it.
My favorite part, and I feel like we would have traded a lot of what we've just talked about to see a battle, and I don't know that I would want to make that trade.
I'm with you. I wouldn't trade anything for it. It's just like it's a quirk of history that the most infamous battle in all of Star Trek lore, we don't see any of it in the episode where it happens, and I actually love that.
They were far away.
I think the impact of seeing the broken ships and Shelby's slow recounting of the three ships, the Melbourne, by the way, the ship that Riker was going to be captain of, had he taken the promotion.
Holy shit, I forgot that part. I knew it sounded familiar. Ooh.
Easily forgotten when Shelby just says, the Melbourne. Fuck. Like, rewatch that when you realise what the Melbourne means. Admiral Hansen dead, his ship destroyed. Like, I love the impact of the Enterprise turning up afterwards. Maybe they would have made a difference, and missing out on that, I don't know.
The only thing that stopped him was putting him to sleep.
Yeah, it's true. They probably wouldn't have made a difference.
And I know maybe some people don't like that, but I thought it was great. Let's get to it.
Love that. Let's go. Let's do your favourite bit of the episode, because we've already talked about the rescue plan.
Before we get to my favorite part, I know we've said it already, but it has to be said again. Riker's smug grin is so perfect.
It's beautiful.
I love seeing Riker just leaned over in the captain's chair, giving all of the orders, and when it goes his way, he is so happy. And it was so fun. Anyway, but after it all happens, their ship is fucked up, but it was so fun. It was so fun to watch.
What he lacks in speeches, he gains in retorts in the moment. So when Locutus is like, any like further attempt to delay us will be whatever we're gonna, and then he says
take your best shot, Locutus, we're about to intervene.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's what Picard doesn't do so much of. That Riker is great in the moment. Riker is great at those retorts. Take your best shot, Locutus, because we're about to intervene. Love it. Immediate erection. I have a quick nitpick in this moment that I only thought about this time around. In the Best of Both Worlds, in the previous episode, they each get given a hand phaser and they're tuned to different frequencies. They'll get 2 shots each.
Yes.
They've done the same thing with Worf and Picard's. It has a new Data, it has a new microchip in it that's going to give them like 5 or 6 shots. Here's an idea. Why not send them with 20 phasers each? Because because they're all different. The away team each get 2 shots each, which means not each person, each phaser gets those shots. So just arm them with 20 phasers. Data could be a quick draw.
Okay, here we go. So the outfit looks like a gunslinger.
Yeah, 100%.
With a sash.
The bandolier.
Yeah. And so, and these are the big dolphin ones as well.
No, it's the new phasers. It's the Cobras, not the Dustbusters.
Yeah, the big Dustbusters.
We've moved on to the Cobra phaser now.
And it's just like, there's 5 on the front. There's a few on the hip. And then they have to like pull the little sash around as they run out. They're just chucking them left and right.
Yeah.
Because they're out of ammunition. And they just keep going. Because that's my point.
Like, if Worf has 6 and Data has 6, therefore it's per phaser, not... Or else he would say, we get 12 shots between us. But they specifically say we have like...
They don't even know.
Unless that's what they mean. When he says 6 shots each, maybe he means it's 12 shots total.
Yeah.
Let's split them between us. But I don't get that impression. I just think 20 phasers would do it.
It's just fun. I love it. And also, I would just invent a little like emitter that scrubs the channels or whatever and just put it on there. And that's just what, but seeing them with the big sash and a belt and some at the ankle and like strapped up and down the leg would be fucking hilarious.
Data opens up his chest cavity, pulls out another phaser.
So Beverly is talking about his DNA being kind of rewritten and she wants to study it. And it's so interesting that there's not this sort of intensity to solve problems. It's they feel like they've resigned that Picard's not in there. And this is now an experiment. It's a unique hybrid creature to study. And she switched from like, this is a man that I have had feelings for and maybe have a child with someday. And like, this is somebody, can I put him in my lab and pet him and hug him and call him George? Like, she just wants to have this little experiment buddy.
Lenny.
Oh my God.
Man. She is very dispassionate when it comes to talking about.
Yeah. She was able to just separate, like, this is not my man. This is not my friend. This is not my love. This is not someone that I respect. No, this isn't that guy.
No.
This isn't a candle. This is curiosity. I found it in the lab and I want to poke it for a while.
If they assimilated him and turned him into a candle, it's a different business.
Anyway, I found that to be very, very interesting. She does wake him up and then he has this sort of like scene that this could have lasted for much longer. And I would have
loved it. Yes.
There's a part of my brain that wants to watch some sort of like comedy sitcom of Locutus on the Enterprise, but where they're not having to, there's time to have him walking around doing Locutus Borg things and just annoying the crew.
Interacting with it and irritating, like, we will assimilate you. They turn to Wesley, we would not assimilate you.
Locutus in these scenes is like Peanut Hamper.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He really is.
Has that sort of like chaos vibe where the just whole thing is
things and like scanning stuff,
causing chaos, reminding them that they are really unnecessary. Why are you? What does he say? He was so annoyed. Oh, it was with Worf.
Yeah. It's so sincere. Why do you resist us? We only wish to raise quality of life. Like fucking Patrick Stewart, man. He finds extra tones. He finds he's still a robot, but it's this like really like, what's the thing from Charlie? What's the kid from Charlie Brown? The sad sack one that's stinky.
Oh,
Pigpen. He's like Pigpen. He's like, why don't you want to be a Borg?
It was so funny. It was genuinely a comedy for me in those moments. And I don't know that it was intentional, but it was a really welcome moment of this alternate reality of Locutus. Just, I don't know. I really loved it.
Lieutenant Commander Data, a primitive cyborg organism. You will be obsolete in the new world order, whatever it is.
Just going from person to person, you will be assimilated. You will be assimilated.
You will become one with the Borg.
And Deanna Troi just cut to her and she's just talking to everybody that's going for counsel. Yes, I know that he's repetitive, but
he's going to be fine. Like,
you're not going to be assimilated. We're going to figure it out. Just what a hilarious sitcom that would be.
You've just unlocked a show I didn't realize that I needed, and I need it so much. It's Locutus, actually. I mean, we kind of get it with 7 of 9. Like, 7 of 9's integration into Voyager would have been that. But again, like Patrick Stewart just doing an incredible job as annoying Locutus.
I like to imagine there was this moment in the writer's room where they just considered this. When he says, I will continue aboard the ship to speak for the Borg while they continue without further diversion to 001 and force surrender. Like he does that. And then it's just like, to be continued. And then next week, it's continuing adventures of Locutus with, and it's just him doing all of these silly things, talking to the replicator, trying to create nanos, and just whatever
like
could
he's
be
trying
unleashed.
to take over the ship and he gets foiled each week.
Yeah.
This, like Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah,
This week we try and take over the Enterprise like we do every night.
Exactly. That's it. That's exactly it.
Whispering to the warp core. This week we're going to get them.
My precious. I don't know. It was fun. But what's really happening is they're talking about the microsurgeries that are in basically he is still Borg, and removing anything from him may ruin Picard forever. So they just sort of realize he's almost a bit harmless, aside from his insults that he is slinging around and talking about all this stuff.
I like my species the way it is.
So they are all kind of, exactly. They're all just sort of forced to be around a very annoying coworker. But Data has an idea to try to connect like cybernetically and figure out if there's a way to reach essentially into the Borg consciousness somehow and figure out if there's something to be learned.
Download everything that they have. See if this is a two-way stream of information.
And this is really like, what a fun concept, because he's essentially realized while he was, doing Data was doing Data things, that they are Wi-Fi linked essentially.
Yes.
Before there was Wi-Fi, this is
super hot Bluetooth.
Super, super hot Bluetooth. And that there's this way that they're staying kind of, intertwined. And so they don't want to cut him off, which is interesting to think about.
They don't want to liberate him. They need that connection. They don't even want to attempt it right now.
And Beverly describes it as cutting off your own arm or your own leg. But in reality, there are examples of people having to do that to survive. But maybe the Borg think, it's not necessary. And honestly,
I've never liked that example either, because we have a literal example of somebody doing that to escape from a canyon that they got trapped in. Like, you could do it, but the analogy is just, it's not as easy as just popping it off. Like, it would be a lot of trauma.
And I would think that with how little they would feel, that it wouldn't be so difficult to just remove what could be considered a wounded or a security threat. But this episode is kind of trying to get to that point.
Kind of needs that.
It needs that connection.
And it might be that from this point onwards, they don't need to do that anymore. Like, they adapt because they saw how crucial that weakness is, that they have now circumvented it, and they are still a collective, but they're more creating a way to shed bits of itself if they need to. But they need it for this episode. And I love it. It's a solution that really works for me, because you have a cybernetic organism that can interface with this other cybernetic organism, and it's using the brains. It's not a brute force solution either. It is a smart people doing smart shit solution, sciencing their way out of the problem. I love it.
This scene is really incredibly beautiful to me. This idea, like Data is such an incredible character, and there are times when his OP properly, his ability to do all of the things can kind of break it, but this is one when it makes sense. He is a android, the processing power, his ability to go into a collective consciousness and find a way through and process systems. This is what this character is designed to do.
Interface. And
it works really, really well for me. But
we would be like, why aren't you using Data if they didn't use Data in this scene to help?
He has this really interesting, there's 3 phases to this link up. And in the first 2, Troy is, it's so heartbreaking, but not feeling anything. And the first time when they look and they're like, anything, and she's just so heartbroken.
He's not in there. That
he's not there. And then when there is a connection, the intensity of this episode just takes off for me. You have Locutus, who's sort of beep-bop booping around in his little holding cage. And then you have all of the head sparkles lighting up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, I love it.
Showing this computing power and this intensity. But it's the way that Brent Spiner decides to go. And by the way, I just remembered his name without looking it up.
Yeah, you did. So proud.
It's been 4 years. Maybe something
if
is
there's
sticking.
One thing that sticks, I hope it's Brent Spiner's name.
This android is fucking loving what's happening right now.
It is.
Right?
Just talk about it. I love it so much.
It is he has to be surfing on this ecstasy.
He's so happy, and it makes sense that he's happy. I mean, he doesn't feel emotions, but he is like activated in the most primal way.
Yeah.
There are not many quotes that my mum can quote, but processing is one of them.
Processing?
And we say, in English, we say processing, but we do not. When we quote this, it's processing, fascinating. And then just the Borg operate in a system of like, and then he just starts explaining how the fucking Borg work. Oh, he's so happy.
But he doesn't just say it like an android. He has a delivery. He chooses to deliver it in a way that his comrades know. Some really interesting shit. I am seeing the browsing history of every person.
That's it. I just got into the operating system. I know what all of their tabs are. The Borg consciousness is divided into subcommands depending on system, but all controlled by one root command. And then he like lists like defenses, shields, tactical navigation,
defense. And then, but the creepiest fucking thing happens, and this is where like there is so much in this episode to really enjoy. But this checked out Locutus, all of a sudden, he says, all controlled by a root command, and all of the fucking sudden, Locutus is like, and he just turns and looks at him like, you can't see that part, sir.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtains. Like, no, wait, quick, let me punch a security officer. Like, and it stops the Borg. And like that tension.
Data.
Oh, it stops Data in his tracks.
Oh, fuck.
They're fighting back. Because
and the Borg,
they just disregarded Data in the last scene as you're inefficient, you're not even good enough to assimilate, and yet you just got into the interweb.
Yes, it's kind of like when the Eye of Sauron sees you.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Was
Laser beam. Yeah.
Creepy. And of course you have, Picard and all of this Locutus gear, and that's really unnerving with his little satellite eye thingy, and
he's naked. You get to see some thigh.
He's not naked.
He's a little bit naked.
Appropriately Borgified,
yes,
sir.
They covered all of the important parts.
He has no blood anymore, so he's not even cold.
No.
Poor guy. But it was so unnerving, and he just reaches out. Grabs
his. And Data rips his hand off. Data rips his hand off because he's like trying to hack into things. Yeah.
There's a lot to be said about this episode.
There
is. But while I'm watching this particular scene, I'm thinking about what happened in Picard. I'm thinking about Data's journey. I'm thinking about the care of these two and their unique relationship. I'm thinking about how much history there is, and it's just really complex. The scene is really complex because you have Data grabbing and removing a hand, and then you have Picard reach through Locutus and grab his arm, and it's just this primal, intense survival of an android and a man that is also part machine, and it's super...
it's genius to pair them.
Honestly, it's really, really fucking good.
I love this. I love it when you love stuff.
It's this scene that just launches this Riker in the command chair on the battle bridge, a battle between the Borg. Like, it's just doing fucking everything.
Yes.
It's just doing, and we even have Geordi who's doing Geordi things, and he looks so good, and there's the warp core, and it's just, there's so much that's happening, and you've got Wesley that's about to fucking ram a Borg ship. It's just fucking so fun.
Worf actually gets consulted on security things and has something important to say.
And Troy gets to feel Picard.
Oh, she gets to bridge the gap and explain what's happening, and Riker's like, oh, you've made contact, that's great. Tell me, is he talking? It's like, actually, Picard is the one that made contact.
Yes.
He reached out to me. Like, he touches Data to say, like, it's me in here. Like, it's not Locutus anymore. I can't talk, but it's me. I'm here. Oh, and like Troy gets to say, I can sense him. It's Picard. He's here.
There was an activity in part of his brain. They were thinking that it was going to be some sort of severance, and she's just, no, it's him. And then he reaches out. He grabs Data's hand. Troy to bridge. Data has made first contact with Captain Picard. Oh, the shivers.
It's such a good line. That line delivery is so good.
And he's like, I was unable to make a path. Picard has managed to initiate this.
Yes.
And then the Borg stop. and then it's like 2 minutes to interception. And this is
at Earth.
They were at Earth, which looked so fucking cool, by the way.
Borg ship in Earth orbit.
A little
so good.
6-sided dice just sitting on top of the Earth. That's so great.
That's no moon.
And so they're in this kind of like pause, sort of like, oh shit, like now what? And
what do we do?
Data is like, well, let's plant a command. And so he starts going through what you would think. Disarm the weapons and
drop shields.
And nothing is working. And then it is Picard who breaks through and says, sleep. And there's this hilarious moment when Beverly's like, oh, he's so tired.
He's tired. And then Taylor's just like pats her on the head. Pat, doctor. I don't think that's what I think he's choosing something more important in this moment.
That's right. Yes.
Nap time, mommy.
Yeah. Okay. No. Oh man. And I was so excited because I was like, just put him to sleep. And that's what I was thinking. And then it literally is playing out in front of me and it works. And it's just the intensity is there. And then there's just this kind of like big breath. And Data, what the hell happened?
It's the tension all the way through is great because Riker and Shelby and everybody on the bridge are helpless, but they know that they've got the Borg's attention, but they still don't have weapons. Nothing is working. The Enterprise is getting sliced up like a Christmas roast or whatever he says, being carved up like a roast. And the last option is to holdo maneuver before the holdo maneuver was even a thing. Star Trek did it first. Sorry, there's a big scene in The Last Jedi where a Star Wars ship jumps to hyperspace, whatever their version of warp is, but they do it through a ship.
I remember that. It was so fucking cool.
There is this huge beam of light that streaks through the ship and it fucks them up. It's the best shot in all of Star Wars for my money. I'm just saying Star Trek came up with it first.
But didn't actually do it.
They didn't do it. But
he was gonna do it. He was gonna fucking do it.
And it's great. It's like, it's logical. It's like, okay, set a course for the warp ship. Geordie, warp drive. Oh, you're not just gonna ram. You're gonna jump to warp. You're gonna warp them to death.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we could have seen it.
And you know what, Riker? That would have worked. And it would have been awesome. And it's also really eerie to watch Wesley go, wait, what? Oh,
wait,
yep,
what?
I'm on it.
I'm 17. I shouldn't even be doing this.
And you're thinking, this kid is like, this is how I go.
Yeah.
You know?
I take 1,000 people with me, plus however many Borg drones, including my mother.
But we're not done yet.
Nope.
Because once it shuts down, it's not as though they end the episode there.
No, there's more.
Let's go ahead and hop on over and just take a quick look.
Yeah.
And how fun is that? Before we blow up this Borg cube
before we get to
production.
Before we get to that, Data gets to have just more fun lines. What did you do, Commander? It's like, I put them all, like, in effect, I put them all to sleep. And Riker's incredulous, just like,
to sleep?
To sleep? Like, he's like, are you high right now?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I activated I tricked them into prematurely activating their regeneration cycle. In effect, Commander, I put them all to sleep. His delivery of that is so... It's cute. Like,
it's really great.
He doesn't really realize... It's almost like he doesn't realize the impact of what he just did. And it's just a beautiful solution. But some people do get a little bit disappointed. I was worried. I never like to presume that you're going to love or hate something. But I had a little reservation that maybe it'd be like, really? They put them to sleep? Like, I was worried that might be anticlimactic. But I'm with you. This is smart. This is a great thing to do.
It's another example of this episode choosing to not let the good guys win on their first attempt. The episode starts off with a wah, 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 with the deflector shield not working. So, and it's not like it 100% worked. It did. I mean, it did, but they also blew up their ship. They realized something's going on here. So we are going to, and this is where I think there's a little bit of a, because they do cut off all of the Borg. They could have just cut off Locutus and saved their ship, but instead they fucked up. And so now they have to lose an entire arm.
Yeah, they
went from taking off a finger
ship
to like a whole arm. So that example kind of goes into itself. And that was something I thought about more than just putting them to sleep. I think it's important to remember that there's a simplicity to the Borg in that they just do commands. This isn't execute a mission without really having to think too much. the minimal resources to guide their version of evolving and surviving, which is just to acquire civilizations and lives and resources. So it doesn't bother me that they did that. And maybe it doesn't bother me because I just went through Strange New Worlds Gorn sleep cycle.
Oh, yeah.
So
we put them to sleep. Man, they did recycle that, didn't they?
It's not too far beyond my imagination.
Man, Strange New Worlds is so messy compared to this. The more I watch TNG, the less I like Strange New Worlds, and I need to process that.
There's a simplicity to the storytelling of TNG that's very nice. I think modern storytelling really tries to explain itself almost so much that it undermines its own ability to just be confidently it.
Yeah.
But I guess the sleep cycle doesn't bother me. It could have been self-destruct, but we've done that before. It could have been this, it could have been that. But it led to this sweet moment of him just like, I put him to bed. They were tired. Sleep. They were very sleepy.
It was mentioned in the live chat by Wandering, but this is something I've quoted to you that you wouldn't have realized or maybe picked up on. But if you're going to sleep, or if I'm going to sleep and I'm tired, it's like, I will say sleep, Data, sleep. And that's just, again, another quote that goes through my family. It was like, whenever it was bedtime, it was sleep, Data, sleep.
But not for long. They take the away team, and we realize that they're not really regenerating mode for long. And it's not because they're going to wake back up. It is because there's a power influx happening, and Shelby, who is critical in this moment and has studied the Borg, is like, this is a self-destruct moment.
Yeah, we've triggered a self-destruct.
And Riker has to make a call on whether to try to stop the self-destruct to study the Borg or fucking let them blow up. And I am with him. Let them go. If they're going to blow themselves up, let's do it.
If you make the decision that quick, I don't even know if it counts as making a call. I don't think he entertained doing anything other than let them blow themselves up.
No.
And it's the right call.
It is.
You can kick yourself about certain decisions. We've just been watching Survivor. There's a person. Jesus Christ.
It's an actual
they play fucking characters. There is a person who is kicking themselves about a decision. And I'm like, can you imagine the amount of kick yourself attitude there is when you stop the self-destruct and the Borg wake up? There is no call to make. You let them blow themselves up. They blow up. That's it. You've had a good day.
The last remaining moment of that, though, is wondering how it's going to affect Picard. And he makes the right call. Yes, we have Picard making contact. And yes, he's in there. And it's funny because Picard, when he's kind of comes back, he's talking about the reckless nature of what Riker has done. And that even Locutus is saying this is not something that you should do. You shouldn't rescue one.
Oh, incorrect strategy, number one.
Incorrect strategy, yes.
So good.
But he is willing to sacrifice Locutus now. It wasn't just an attempt to save Picard. It was for information. And that's an interesting thing to think about too.
Yeah, no, it really is. And there's a little freak out that he does as the ship is exploding. But
yeah, it hurts a little bit whenever you're disconnected from the mothership.
Yeah. But no, it's great. And then we get this really tender moment where Picard is back. Riker comes into the lab, and we've kind of covered this, but he's exhausted. And yeah, it's like, what do you remember? Everything.
Including some brilliantly unorthodox strategy from a former first officer of mine.
So great. Picard's back.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. It's like, it is the level that was set by Best of Both Worlds, and how the fuck do we get out of this? Of the premise, I love the execution of part 2. Like I like it. It's hard to say this, but as a story, I like it better than episode 1. And episode 1 is great. It is incredible. I love Riker's arc, but I really love and respect how they resolved everything in this episode and the bravery it took to fuck up Picard this much.
And they're not even done. There's so many times when it could be, this is a good place to end, but then they decide to add even more because it's not just, how do you feel? Almost human. Just a bit of a headache. Then it goes to the next thing where she decides that she's going to be, Shelby is going to leave the ship.
Yes.
But whenever actually right before that, I'm sorry. It shows the Earth. It's really beautiful. The ship. It's beautiful. Everything is like really calm. And then Shelby comes in, but they both say come at the first.
Yes.
So There's
both
even like
captain.
a little more. They just add a little bit more. It's Riker still comfortable in his role, but he is giving that back. He wants to serve beside Picard, and Shelby decides to leave. And there's kind of a nice little moment between. And then, they leave, and Picard has the moment we talked about earlier where he kind of has his turn. Yeah, they put the stars.
They put to bed the Riker thing as well, where like when we've rebuilt the fleet, or we back in a year, you'll have the pick of any ship. And Riker says, Shelby, Captain, my career plans are my own. Thank you very much. I'm very happy where I am. It kind of ties that up in a bow as well. I mean, I love that he gets the captain pips. Like, it's not like a temporary thing. Like, it's not often they do that. There's plenty of times where Riker is in charge of the ship, but he gets the 4 pips and is like, oh, that has a permanence to it. It's just a nice little touch. I love that.
Yep. And then we see Picard turn, and here's the worst part of this episode.
Wait, what?
Guinan doesn't come talk to Picard.
Oh.
And neither does Troy.
No.
But that is a choice of the show to leave on that dark mark of Picard.
I think that's fair.
I think it's important.
It is.
But God damn it, I don't believe for one second that Guinan or Troy would not be in there in a second. Maybe it was in a scene when they visited him in sick bay and we just missed that part. But
because
it would have ruined it, honestly, if Guinan would have come in, because she had her moment with Riker. It doesn't need it. No. I, though, need someone to go comfort that fucking man.
Yeah, you do. Well, I think Guinan probably needs some time, because she did some like letting go to get Riker to the place. So I think Guinan might need some time first. But also, we don't know quite how much time has passed, because he's had surgery, removed all of the bits and pieces. They've started like repairing the Enterprise and whatnot. So I think I'm sure conversations has been had. If it makes you feel better, and this is a good little transition, there are conversations between Troy and Picard immediately after this episode, because episode 2, Family, immediately continues from this point. Like, it is very, very rare moment in TNG, in Star Trek, where it's basically a 3-parter. So it continues into the next episode, and where Picard is dealing with trauma. And I know we said we wouldn't be covering Family. We had a look at the schedule. We will be covering Family. It's going to be slightly out of order to make sure that we have a holiday break. First Contact will be coming next. Once we've done First Contact, we will be covering Family as well. So we will complete the Best of Both Worlds trilogy. It's just going to be slightly out of order so that we can maybe just have a day or two off over Christmas, perhaps. I think, unless there's anything else you want to hit, Ambassador, pips. I think I know where they're going.
All the captain's pips. Yeah, this is an excellent episode of Star Trek. It is one you need to be sitting down for you got to watch the first.
You have to
get to the second.
Yeah.
But I can absolutely see why this is such a great 2-parter TV series. And I don't know. It's serious, and it's like really, really intense when you think about the characters being, real, which we like to pretend that they are.
They are real, Deneé. We've got the logs. They just haven't been born yet, but these are real people that were born in the future. We are just retelling their stories.
The fun of this episode is in the intensity of battle and enemy and curiosity and that sort of thing. It's a crew at their top of their game trying to figure out solutions. That's the fun of this sort of episode, and it's not the normal kind of fun that I would lean in to watch. The laughter that I felt in my heart as Locutus was getting on to the Klingon and the android may have been unintentional. So
I think it is, but he's vulnerable. He's being taken out of this position of power. He's been kidnapped, and it's kind of like swallow your hubris now because you're so mighty, but you got kidnapped. I wonder, do you I mean, it's a silly question, but do you understand why this is such an incredible landmark 2-parter in Star Trek? Because that was a question at the top of last episode, was why do you love this so much?
Yeah. Honestly, this is one of the bigger dives I think that we've taken so far, because there was such a look behind the scenes as to what was happening that really gave more clarity to why this 2-parter is so important. It reminds me when we talked to some guests about going to the picket line to try to get Star Trek to come back on TV.
This is why.
Feels like this is sort of that moment for TNG. And it was really fun. Yeah, I can see why it's not only like a big swing, and it's a hit, because you're introducing like the Borg are just, they're forever part of Star Trek after this, but also solidifying these characters and choosing to change their dynamic and give them more dimension. Maybe that's what Stewart wanted. Maybe he wanted to have something that was just not the normal, maybe giving him
of episodic television.
Giving him something to really work with that is the dark part, that is the trauma of war, of the trauma of all of these things that you would be experiencing in life as part of this military, gave Stewart a maybe not even a because I can't speak for him, but just maybe ignited a new element of a character for him that, I don't know, it seems like it's important for a whole bunch of reasons, and I hope that we've done it justice by talking about it.
I don't think we can underestimate the goodwill that this two-parter brought Star Trek. Like, I'm just thinking about the timing and how in a couple of years we get Deep Space Nine. A couple of years after that we get Voyager. Then we get 4 movies. Does any of that happen if we don't have this two-parter that had so much buzz that it must have brought people into Star Trek? It's like, well, I'm going to, however they could watch it in syndication, I'm going to try and get caught up. I'm going to binge it as much as I can based on when it's broadcast so that I can be a part of season 4 when that premieres. And then does the incredibleness of this two-parter then carry you through season 4, which has some of the best episodes of the entire run, and I think season 5 and 6 are really strong as well. Like, it all starts for me with with this two-parter, and I think that I don't know if we have the amount of Star Trek that we have now if this two-parter didn't do so well and did so much.
It's
wild,
really scary part of looking back in time and thinking, if this one thing didn't happen, and it really comes down to that one writer that was just like, fuck this job, I'm going to write some crazy shit.
Michael Piller.
And you know what, Michael Piller, maybe it was a bad time for you at one point, but you know, it's crazy how you never know what's gonna work and what swings to take. And this worked. It becomes such an integral part of what you remember when you think about TNG is Locutus. It's Borg Picard. You remember it, whether you remember seeing the episode or not. You know that
image.
You know the image. You know how important, it kind of is. The Borg are all like, that's one of the greatest enemies ever. It sort of, it overshadows so many other things because, the machine, the android, all of these ideas, it's just something that was expounded upon. And I can't imagine that it would have worked if they were bee people.
Right.
With like little stingers on their butts.
Picard gets turned into an insect. No, we wait for Genesis for that one.
Oh boy.
So many people know that image of Locutus with Patrick Stewart with the bald stuff on him as a Halloween costume, whatever. Like, that transcends Star Trek. And you're talking about Star Trek. Like, how much do you have to try to transcend Star Trek? It's crazy. We owe Michael Piller forever and always. He passed away in 2005. Aww. Way too soon. He is responsible for some of the most incredible Star Trek that we've ever watched. And there is so much that we don't have because he wasn't with us for longer. Michael Piller is
amazing,
is the GOAT.
Fun. And I think you're right. We probably, upon reflection, wouldn't have a lot of the things that we have now. And, you'll never know the sacrifices that every single person made to create something like this. And it's just really fun to watch it, knowing that we get to watch some of the content we do. And you're right. Maybe we wouldn't have Deep Space Nine, which is more of a serious, like, war acting and depth, and it's not episodic, it's more serial. Like, there maybe that never existed if we didn't have a successful two-parter, if we didn't have a props team that figured out how to make the budget work and create something unique, if we didn't have a Borg baby, just one person day that said, I'll bring my kid and you can stick a little thing on it. Like, you never know.
Whose kid is that? It's somebody on the team.
But there is something that's really, really important, and that is that it's the protection of that creative perspective to have content creators out there that are willing to just swing for the fences sometimes and see where we're seeing it with K-pop Demon Hunters. There's just sometimes a perfect coming together of creativity that works, that's fun, and everyone dedicated is just going to put something out there to the best of their ability. And maybe it is seen and maybe it isn't seen. And sometimes big, names will pick them up and it works. And then there's so much we never see, because what was happening in the 90s, like you talk about going and binging it, you'd have to go find the VHS tapes. Yeah. You'd go buy them at the store,
wait for
and
a rerun.
That's how you would do your binging. You'd have to wait for a rerun, but they wouldn't be necessarily in the order that that it's not like they were going to just play them in order for you all the time. So the fan base dedication and what we were able to watch is just what the big networks did. And now we live in an era of there is so much that we can consume. It's hard to know. You can never watch it all. You've got people on YouTube swinging for the fences, making hilarious and wonderful and thoughtful things. You've got and the sci-fi that came after Star Trek that was being put on the Sci-Fi Channel. There was no Sci-Fi Channel if there's not these kinds of things. And it's just, would any of that be there if they didn't see a very successful two-parter? It's an interesting question to ask. I wouldn't know that because I didn't watch this thinking it was successful. I watched it because I liked Picard and I liked Data and I liked Riker and I really loved Choi and everybody, like every single person on this fucking ship. I love these characters so much. And so, I don't know, the more serious episodes sometimes make me nervous, but there's so much to appreciate in this. And I'm definitely down for watching more, I guess, serious stuff. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, let me watch something that's funny. I want to see Peanut Hamper. But then we get to have these great conversations. So, I don't know.
The people are ready for you to watch Deep Space Nine. It's going to be so hard to pick that apart. This two-parter is why I tell people to start with TNG. Even with the varying quality of season 1 and season 2, you still get the camaraderie of the crew. And when you get into season 3 and the end of season 3 and into this, if you are not hooked on Star Trek by that point, it ain't for you.
It's just not for you.
It's not for you, and that's fine. But I feel like almost anybody could be hooked on Star Trek based on the first three seasons of TNG. And then that just opens the door to the rest of Star Trek, which follows a very similar format with varying degrees of quality. But once you're in that world, it's beautiful and you have so much to see and so much to watch. And this two-parter, when I think about introducing people to Star Trek, it's when am I ready to show them this? Like, this is what I want to get to. So it's like, how much do I have to show them before we can just get to the best of both worlds? For us, I was very patient. I waited 4 years to do this.
Well,
and you already knew TNG.
And you know what, though? We're also only watching one episode a week for the show.
Yes.
If we had like a normal, regular life, I'm sure we would have gotten there much sooner.
Oh, of course we would. Of course we would. But like this link jumps into mind. One of our regular listeners who started the journey with us having not watched any Star Trek, wasn't watching any Star Trek while we were like watching episodes as well, was just listening to the podcast and then started watching Star Trek. Like, I think about that journey. Anybody that's joined us who hasn't watched Star Trek before, like you always have a space in my brain where I'm like, are we serving you people as new people to Star Trek as well? That's why I love doing the show so much. I love nerding out with everybody that's seen Star Trek as much as I have. But I have a dedicated portion of my brain that is the people that have never seen Star Trek. Is this working for them as well? So yeah. Anyway, loved it. This is why I wanted to do this run for our anniversary show. And 4 years. 4 years of Star Trek The Next Generation as well. It was a nice little overlap into season 4 of TNG too. I didn't give you my pips. Is anybody going to be surprised? It's 4 pips, even though Wesley shouldn't be piloting the ship. I'm going to ignore that. Why the fuck is he? Why? He's not even a commissioned officer. He's a cadet, but it doesn't matter. It's an incredible episode for all of the reasons that we said. 4 pips. I do have some corrections and emails, but honestly, it doesn't feel right talking about anything that isn't the best of both worlds right now. So we're going to save corrections and emails. We may not even do them during the first contact run, but we'll have a nice chunky email section at some point in the new year. Before we sign off, I did want to give a quick plug to friend of the show, David Ellis, whose short film we've talked about and he guested on the show, 359, is set immediately after the Battle of Wolf 359.
Oh, yeah! We watched watched that.
So we watched that together.
Shit.
That'll make...
I should watch that again.
You should. It is 15 minutes.
We should all watch that again.
We should all watch that again. It is beyond worth 15 minutes that it takes to watch it. It is an incredible addendum to... I get chills. It is so...
They're all dead, right? Like
it's
they all,
so good.
It's like talking about the fucking Titanic. Okay, I guess there's some survivors in the Titanic. I don't remember. I do not remember.
Go to YouTube. I'm going to put
assimilated.
I'm going to put the link in the description.
They're super dead.
It is incredible. If you want to I don't know, if you don't feel some things, then you're dead inside as well. Shaw did survive. Captain Sisko survived. Captain Sisko's son survived.
Wait, they were all in that battle?
They're all at Wolf 359. Yeah, Sisko was there. Sisko was at Wolf 359 on the Saratoga with his son and wife. Yeah, his wife, whose name is Jennifer.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah, you do. Anyway.
Who was on the cute shoe?
Some tribbles. It was just a shift of tribbles. They died first. But yeah, please go and watch 359. It is genuinely incredible, and it's a great partnership with the best of both worlds. Super duper good. So, for next week, we're going to be jumping into First Contact, the second TNG movie. We have watched Generations. We watched it last Christmas, but we didn't have time to do a pod about it. We just watched it for fun with my family. One day we'll do it as a pod. But yeah, we're going to do First Contact, the next step in the journey. That will come out in your podcast feed next week. We'll be splitting First Contact into 2 podcasts. The first podcast will be covering up to minute 55, which will be stopping just after the incident on the holodeck with Captain Picard and the Borg, and before we get back to Earth where Barclay is pestering Cochrane. The following week will be First Contact Part 2. The week after that will be Family. And then that's going to take us directly into Starfleet Academy, which I predict will be episodes 1 and 2 being released. So your podcast feed's going to have everything in it. Every Wednesday, it's going to keep on going. Anything else you want to plug?
No, I'm just really sorry that I broke the email. I'm working on it, but please email us to iananddeneé@gmail.com.
That one works. That one 100% works. We've received emails. Apologies. We have Gmail. It's a great backup. But until next week, I am Captain Ian, and why do you resist us? We only wish to raise quality of life for all species.
Oh my God, you're not going to believe my quote.
Go on.
My quote.
Yeah.
It's the Klingon Empire will never yield from me.
No! In all of these years!
What?
It's backwards, but they were continuous. That's amazing.
I was so excited to say this because it's like the Klingon Empire will never yield. Like, that's so fun to say.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Wow. Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Captain's Pod. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, you can send us an email to ian@iananddeneé.com. And if you want to support the show and get the episodes early, you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/iananddeneé. If you want to catch the show live, we have those links down in the description for YouTube and Twitch. And then I think I'm supposed to close this hailing frequency, so bloop bloop, we're out. How many times were you punched in the dick by a dog before we came upstairs?
Pummeled. Repeatedly pummeled. Each one of them decided to traverse me, but then went backwards and forwards, just kneading my groin.
You were like,
in and around the groinal area.
I thought you were being a little exaggerative at
You're
first.
such a... You don't have a penis, so you don't know what it feels like. You don't have testicles. You do not know what it feels like to have them pummeled by 2 dogs, occasionally a cat, an 8-year-old, and your wife.
I've never had a wife before, so you're right. I don't know.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I tried to feed the cat something.
What did you try to feed the cat?
Do you want to guess? Or do you want me to just tell you it was a
Onion
French fry?
No, let me guess. Did he eat it?
The fact that you said onion ring, as I admitted, French fry was pretty good.
I was imagining what was on your plate. I was like, it's not the burger. It could be the fry, but that's ridiculous. Let's try the onion ring. It has more flavor. Well, it'll be... Do you want to know something that's interesting in that vein?
Of course, of course. You're still coughing? That's interesting to me. Like, at what point do you decide I'm going to go to the emergency room?
No, I dropped a fry on the floor, and Reese's ate it from the floor. I felt bad, so I fed Twix a fry. So the cat, dogs have all had fries.
The cat didn't eat the fry.
Oh, okay.
The cat was interested in what I was doing and entertained me while it sort of like sniff, kind of opened its mouth a little bit to sort of like maybe taste the air around it.
Yeah.
Decided I was insane to offer it to him.
Which is a fair assessment.
And for a split second, I thought maybe I should just poke his mouth with it. And then I thought, no, that's rude. So I turned and I gave it to Reese's, which means that Reese's and Twix both had a fry. And we didn't know that we both had given them up.
Both had this is their dream. This is what they campaign for every day, is that maybe the
today.
Other won't realise that the other fed
Yeah,
them.
maybe today is the day. Just got an email about puppies that need a home in the shelter.
Why are you getting emailed? I didn't know you were getting emails from the shelter.
You don't know about a lot of things.
Oh, I fear that is true. Hi, everyone.
I have a new feature. Can I show you?
Yes.
Okay, can you say something that would happen if we were to get hit by I don't know, space shit.
Ow! Fuck! That spaceship just hit me.
No. I mean, what would they say for evasive manure?
Oh. I would say evasive manure as I shit my pants.
How is that never said in any episode?
Evasive manure!
My microphone is falling now. After all of these years, it actually...
Structure integrity has been compromised. You need to fix that before I do my intro.
Okay. You can mute me if you want to. You can mute if you want to.
You can
leave this girl behind. And if you mute...
No mic of mine. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from
How is this? Is this so good? How is this? What just happened? What just happened?
It died.
Okay.
Live on air.
Man,
dying in your arms tonight.
I'm sorry to talk so much. I really liked it a lot, okay?
Oh, Deneé.
It was so fun.
So happy.
How fucking great is this show?
Right? Hello? This is why I want to do a show about it.
Well, yeah.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good.
It's so fucking good.
I'm so glad you guys remember things like Shaw. I totally forgot that Shaw was in that.
That's why he's so bitter with Picard. He spells it. He's
totally
drunk
forgot about
in the
that.
bar. And he's just like, you know why I am the way I am? It's because of you dick, and Wolf 359.
It wasn't Picard's fault. It was not Picard's. He was fucking kidnapped off of the bridge of the Enterprise.
Worf shouldn't have left him unguarded. Worf jumped over, left his captain.
It's Q's fault.
What's wild is that the next time Q turns up, Picard doesn't uppercut him and say, "You fuck. Do you know what happened because of you and what happened to me?" Q never apologizes for that. Stavel, relativistic weapons just ruin all of sci-fi. Once you have faster than light travel, all weapons should be light speed projectiles. It's so true. Tiny little warp drive and boom. You never know where it's coming from either. So true. Give me a show in the 2340s. In the 2400s. I beg you. And yes, I know that's when Picard takes place, but that's not what I want. I want a new ship in the 2400s, properly lit.
Lit?
No, I didn't mean properly lit like fucking young people say. I mean literally properly lit, as bright as TNG. I want lighting. I want to see the beige. I don't want dark sets. I don't want glass floors. I want fucking carpet. I want fucking beige. And I want spotlights on everybody so I can see my fucking spaceship. What I want is the Orville, but better.
It's actually, we had a chat before we started the show about just stopping talking about anything.
Yeah, just don't mention anything.
Because it feels bad. I feel bad when we're like, this is going to happen and this is our goal. And then it just goes on. And thankfully you guys are always really understanding, but it's really weird. There's a lot going on and we just have to really pull back.
We can mention the Derpa Prize one, which is we were
perfect example.
Seconds away from just clicking the button. We could literally click the button.
It's time to sell the Derpa Prizes we've been talking about.
Publish it, and we can share the link with you. But the shop that will remain nameless that we are using it through, there is and I'm not kidding, you can't make this up. There is a coding error
on the website
that is preventing us from adding a shipping option. A coding error. We have escalated this now, and they are taking it to their coders of the website to recode our page so that we can add a shipping option. That is the level of fuckery that we are dealing with to sell this fucking ship to you.
We've escalated it twice, and we're just like
insane,
literally sitting on our hands waiting for it.
Peanut butter M&M's, gonna eat as many of you as I can.